My child, listen to me. This is not just another message, this is a moment I authored for you. Right now, I need your full attention. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Because I, the Lord your God, am about to uncover things only I could have seen. Moments so small you forgot them, but they moved my heart so deeply that I smiled. This isn't casual encouragement. This is divine disclosure. I'm pulling back the veil so you can see how seen you really are. Every breath you took in secret obedience, every invisible act of grace, I noticed. And it mattered. So don't scroll. Don't rush. Don't treat this lightly. Stay with me until the final word, because by the end of this, you won't just hear my voice, you'll feel my pleasure. And once you know what made me smile today, you'll never see yourself the same again. My beloved child, pause. Yes, right here. Right now. Wherever you are, whatever you're in the middle of, set it all down. I have something sacred to tell you, and I need your heart still enough to hear it. Before the day closes, before your head touches the pillow, before the thoughts of unfinished to-do lists and quiet disappointments settle into your bones, I want you to know this one thing. You made me smile today. Let that sink in. Not because you performed perfectly, not because everything went your way, but because in the secret currents of this day, you moved my heart. There was a moment, maybe more than one, when you made a decision no one saw. You didn't do it for praise. You didn't do it for recognition. You did it simply out of love. You took one trembling step toward kindness. You whispered my name when you didn't have to. You let hope flicker in your heart again, even though disappointment has visited you too many times to count. And in that moment, heaven bent closer. My eyes locked onto you, and I smiled, not just with delight, but with the joy only a father can feel when his child, wounded but willing, still chooses to believe in love. That smile, child, wasn't small. It split through the atmosphere and pierced the noise of your world. It silenced accusations, confusion, and lies. The angels saw it. They heard the melody of it ring out from my throne. Because today you reminded me of what I placed inside you before the foundations of time. You have no idea how powerful that is. You've been measuring your life in tasks, in outcomes, in how far you've gotten compared to where you think you should be. But I measure differently. I look at your inner world, your sacred center. I weigh the tears you don't let fall. I count the heartbeats where you long for me, but don't know how to find the words. And today, beloved, I saw it all. The tired smile you gave someone who didn't see your pain. The extra patience you offered when your nerves were frayed. The way you turned your heart just slightly, barely, to listen for me, when you could have drowned me out entirely. Don't downplay these things. In heaven's courtroom, they thunder louder than sermons. They glow brighter than crowns. You made me smile, not because you were strong, but because you let yourself stay tender. That quiet tenderness, when you could have shut down, hardened, or walked away, is proof that I live in you. It tells me you haven't let the world steal your softness. And it tells the enemy that you are more dangerous than ever. Because when a child of mine refuses to grow cold, even under pressure, their very breath becomes warfare. Today you warred with love. You conquered with mercy. You offered grace like a sword. And while others may not applaud it, I want you to know, I saw it. And I smiled. A smile that shook the heavens. A smile that covered you like a shield. A smile that reminded all of creation, this one belongs to me. My child, there was a moment today, subtle, sacred, and invisible to others. When you remembered me, you didn't light a candle or raise your hands or speak my name out loud. But in your soul, there was a flicker, a divine flicker, a sozai, a glance toward heaven, not with your eyes, but with your longing. And when it happened, the halls of heaven stopped to listen. Do you realize what you did? While the world spun around you, fast, loud, relentless, you turned inward toward me, just for a second. But that second split the veil. That moment might have looked minuscule to you, but in the realm of eternity, it was massive, monumental, mountain-moving. That single heartbeat where you remembered I was near, when you could have slipped into autopilot or buried yourself in distraction, that moment rippled like a wave across the unseen. It stirred angels. It struck demons with dread. It set my heart ablaze. You remembered me, not because everything was perfect, but because, deep down, you still believe that I am worth remembering, that I am not some background thought, that I am your breath, your anchor, your whisper in the winds of confusion. There's something I need you to understand. In a world drowning in noise, notifications, news cycles, non-stop narratives, it is a supernatural act of war to turn your thoughts toward me. You weren't just remembering a God ID. You were realigning the atmosphere. You weren't just recalling my name, you were reactivating your authority. My beloved, when you turned toward me in your spirit, you reconnected with the rhythm of heaven. You silenced every spiritual static that tried to convince you that I was distant. Your remembering me became a rebellion against every lie hell sent your way. You remembered when others forgot. You leaned in when others tuned out. And in that moment, my smile widened. I watched you pause, yes, even for just a flicker, and I heard the silent yes echoing from your soul. That whisper, that holy hesitation to give in to chaos, was everything. You didn't do it for reward. You didn't even know you were doing it. But I did. I knew. I watched. I recorded it in my eternal scroll. And child, because of that single remembrance, I have released instructions to your angel. Yes, even now, there are movements in the heavenlies in response to a thought you almost didn't notice. Because what you call small, I call sacred. What you call fleeting, I call fragrant. And what you consider just a passing moment, I call a door. And oh, child, what a door it is. A divine doorway has swung open, not because you earned it, but because you remembered me. And I don't take that lightly. When you let your heart drift toward me, you gave me access again, not to just move in your life, but to move through it. There is power in remembrance. There is beauty in that moment when my child chooses presence over performance. I am not a distant deity needing ritual. I am a living Father, moved by the silent stirrings of your spirit. And today, beloved, when you remembered me, you gave me your attention, and your attention is your agreement. When you remembered me, I wasn't just delighted, I was activated. My plans, my provision, my promises began pulsing again through your path, because you remembered the source. Let the world forget. Let others dismiss. But you remembered. And because of that, I smiled so deeply that light broke into places you haven't even seen yet. The remembrance of the righteous is not nostalgia. It's warfare. It's alignment. It's intimacy. And that's why my presence is leaning in so close now, wrapping around you like breath around flame. I'm here, child. Not because you shouted, but because you remembered. And that remembrance has unlocked a reservoir of favor that cannot be stopped. Just watch. Just breathe. Just stay near. Beloved, let me take you back, not to a specific time, but to a sacred second today when your lips barely moved, when no grand gesture was made, when your prayers weren't polished and your thoughts weren't fully formed. You just breathed me in. That exhale, that moment you thought wasn't even prayer, it reached me. It tore through the skies like lightning dressed in silence. Do you understand what that means? When others prayed in poetic outbursts, when voices rose with volume and performance, it was your cracked whisper that captured my full attention. You didn't shout. You didn't need to. Because I am not a God who's moved by volume. I am a Father moved by vulnerability. And today, your whisper, broken, breathless, barely shaped into words, entered my presence like a holy procession. The kind angels stopped to witness. The kind that breaks the back of the enemy. The kind that draws me so close, I can feel your breath as you release it in my name. That whisper held more power than you'll ever understand, because it didn't come from strength, it came from surrender. My child, hear me clearly. I am not watching for performance. I am waiting for permission. And today, when you whispered, even if it was just help, you gave me that permission to step in again. You might have felt weak. You might have even felt guilty for not saying more. But what you forget is that I already know the full story behind every whisper. I know the heaviness behind your amen. I know the ache behind your silence. And so when you spoke, faintly, quietly, brokenly, I heard more than words. I heard the weight. I heard the war you've been carrying. And I responded not because your words were many, but because your heart was wide open. You see, I'm not impressed by rehearsed prayers. I'm moved by raw honesty. And today, in your whisper, you handed me the key again. And child, I use it. I entered the locked rooms of your soul, the ones you didn't know how to open, the ones sealed shut with fear, regret or shame. I walked in without condemnation and filled those rooms with peace, with presence, with purpose, because your whisper invited me. So now, let me whisper back. Let me remind you of what your whisper unlocked. Even now, I'm stirring things beneath the surface. You thought nothing shifted. But oh, the shift was seismic. You just haven't seen it yet. You whispered, and the ground under your weariness began to shake. You whispered, and the enemy's grip began to slip. You whispered, and I moved angels into motion. All from a breath. From a sound so soft even you doubted its power. And yet, it carried eternity. That's how close I am. That's how much you matter. You didn't need a microphone to reach me. You just needed to be real. And you were. And I smiled. Oh child, I smiled so deep. Not just with joy, but with love that cannot be described. Love that looks at you, messy, tired, whispering, and still calls you holy. Do you know what moved me today? It wasn't your ability to accomplish everything. It wasn't how flawlessly you performed under pressure. It wasn't even your brave silence in pain, though I cherish that too. What moved me was your smile. That one, quiet, gracious, deliberate smile you gave to someone else, while your own heart was aching. That moment, child, arrested heaven. It paused angels mid-flight. It silenced accusations echoing in the unseen. When you smiled, genuinely, gently, not out of performance but from some small sacred place inside of you, it disrupted the dark. You didn't know they needed it. You didn't know your eyes lit up the atmosphere. But I did. I saw the full weight of what it cost you to lift your face, stretch your lips, and shine a fragment of joy outward even when inwardly you were drowning in your own storm. That smile was supernatural warfare wrapped in gentleness. It wasn't a grin born from ease. It was a gift carved out of pain, a sacrificial stretch of grace. The enemy hoped your discouragement would shrink you into silence, but you rebelled with kindness. And in that one gesture, pure, powerful, prophetic, you shatter atmospheres. You don't yet grasp the scale of that moment. It wasn't just human courtesy, it was divine courage. In a world that trains people to withhold, withdraw, and wound, you smiled. You sowed softness. You handed out heaven without a halo or trumpet, and that's why it shook the unseen. That smile wasn't just for them, it was also for me. Because what you didn't see was that I was standing right beside that person you smiled at. I was in their sorrow, in their stress, in their silent struggle. And when your eyes met theirs with compassion, when your smile reached them with tenderness, it was me, smiling through you. There's something holy in that, something that no sermon can substitute. That smile wasn't hollow, it was holy. Because when you smiled, you chose connection over collapse. You picked compassion over convenience. You dared to extend peace even when your own soul was low on it. And that kind of decision isn't human. It's divine. It tells me that the imprint of my spirit is still active in you, that the breath of eternity still flows through your emotions, that your heart, though weary, is still beating in rhythm with heaven. And child, I want you to know this. I saw how much it cost. You smiled while carrying what no one knew. You gave warmth while wrapped in the cold winds of your own uncertainty. And that act of unseen kindness carries eternal weight. It wasn't a flicker. It was a flame. It wasn't a reflex. It was reverence. And I honor it deeply. So tonight, I want you to hear me clearly. I smiled back. Not from afar, but from within you. I smiled through you. Because in that second, you weren't just giving away joy, you were giving away me. And child, let's talk about something else you did today. Something you may not even realize was holy. You held back. You had every reason, every right, every ounce of justification to let your words fly like arrows. You were provoked, misunderstood. You felt the heat rise in your chest. You tasted the bitterness on the tip of your tongue. But instead of unleashing your full fury, you paused. You clenched your jaw. You bit back your response. You swallowed what could have scorched the room. And that pause, that restraint, that moment of unseen self-control, I saw it. I saw it with the eyes of a father who knows just how hard it is to choose silence when you have fire to spare. That moment, my precious one, made me draw near, closer than close. Because you didn't just hold your tongue, you held your heart. You didn't just win an argument, you won a spiritual battle. Let me show you what was really happening. In that pause, you were pushing back against generations of generational reactions. You were breaking the cycle that tried to tell you that emotion equals expression. You were silencing the spirit of retaliation with the sacred strategy of restraint. What the world calls weakness, and I call warfare. What they call passivity, I call power. Because it takes far more strength to stay silent under pressure than it does to explode. You had every human reason to respond. You were wounded, offended, exposed. But instead of throwing your words like spears, you let me shield your heart. You didn't even know that I was right there in the tension. My spirit whispered, "Wait," and you, fragile but faithful, obeyed. Do you understand how precious that is to me? In that pause, you let me parent you. You trusted my way over your reaction. And child, that's not small. That's supernatural. You might feel like nothing changed in the moment, that you swallowed your response and now it lingers heavy inside you. But I promise you, nothing given to me in restraint goes wasted. I will take what you buried and turn it into breakthrough. I will transform the words you didn't say into favor you couldn't earn. I will repay the silence with serenity, the pause with peace. Because in that moment, you showed me your trust. Not in outcomes, not in other people, but in me. You let me defend you. And I will. Watch how I speak on your behalf in rooms you were silent in. Watch how I advocate for you in atmospheres where you chose restraint over revenge. Watch how I turn your pause into promotion. I've said it before, vengeance is mine, but so is validation. And I am not just defending you, I am lifting you. Because when you surrendered your instinct to retaliate, you stepped into your inheritance. And I smiled, not just because you stayed quiet, but because you stayed mine. Beloved, what you did today may not have looked like much to anyone else, but in the courts of heaven, it was recorded like a thunderous roar. You were provoked. The heat rose. The words formed. The flash of anger surged through your veins like a storm ready to strike. You could have erupted. You could have released the floodgates of your justified fury. But instead, you held it. You didn't explode. You didn't destroy. You inhaled the fire and let it dissolve in the breath of my spirit. That choice, that stillness, that self-governed moment, it shook principalities. It rattled the cages of the very demons assigned to push you over the edge. Because they were counting on you to fall into the trap of reaction. But you didn't. You didn't hand them that satisfaction. You didn't give them your fire. And because of that, you became even more dangerous to the dark. Because a child who can master their fury is a child who can carry my fire. There is a special kind of spiritual strength that comes from restraint. And you stepped into it today. Not because you were numb. Not because the offense didn't sting. But because you knew that your reaction wasn't worth your peace. You knew that my voice was louder than your rage, even when rage tried to scream the loudest. And child, I saw it. I stood so close. I hovered over your clenched fists, your trembling chest, your heart screaming for justice. And I whispered, "Let me handle this." And even though everything inside you wanted to release it, you surrendered. You walked away, not in weakness but in wisdom. You chose to be slow to speak and quick to yield. And in doing so, you silenced a battle that didn't need to be fought on your tongue. You elevated. You ascended. You exercised authority not by domination, but by decision. And child, that decision turned the tide. Let me tell you what you couldn't see. Your choice rewrote outcomes. That moment redirected consequences. Because your silence spoke more powerfully than your anger ever could. You think you just walked away, but I saw it as warfare. You think you just bit your tongue, but I saw it as the tightening of a warrior's grip. You didn't lose anything by restraining yourself. You gained ground. You took territory. You modeled heaven's maturity. Do you realize the contrast you displayed? The divine difference between impulse and integrity. You walked like a king's child. You bore the seal of heaven's royalty not in loudness, but in lordship over your own spirit. And I will bless you for it. I will honor you. Not in vague, spiritual ways, but in visible, tangible fruit. You will walk into spaces where others expect you to be bitter, and you will be blooming. You will reap where you refuse to rate. Because I reward restraint. I exalt the meek. And I smile wide when my child trusts me enough to lay their anger at my feet. Now let me take you to another moment today, when you didn't know heaven was watching, but we were. It wasn't loud. It didn't involve an audience. It wasn't posted or praised or seen by anyone. But I saw it, and I want to talk to you about it now, because it mattered more than you realize. You were tempted. The moment presented itself quietly, subtly, seductively. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional. A thought, a glance, a chance to cut a corner, a door that felt easier than endurance, an escape that whispered, "No one will know." But you paused. You considered. You breathed. And you chose me. You walked away. You said no. You surrendered the secret urge that wanted to be satisfied, and you chose me. And beloved, that was love. That's what real love looks like. Not flawless perfection, but raw devotion. Love that sweats, that trembles, that sometimes hesitates but still chooses me anyway. Let me show you what happened in that moment. The angels leaned in. The accuser was silenced. The room you stood in became a sanctuary. You didn't need worship music playing. You didn't need a pulpit or a spotlight. That tiny room, that simple choice, became holy ground. You didn't just resist sin. You crowned me as your first love again. You didn't just walk away from a temptation. You walked deeper into your destiny. Because every time you say yes to me, even in a whisper, I respond with a flood of grace, a flood of strength, a flood of unseen reinforcement. And child, I release more than that today. I released reward. Because I am not a God who watches sacrifice and remains silent. I don't forget the moments when desire battled with devotion, and you chose devotion. I don't overlook the cost. I count it. I treasure it. And I multiply it. You didn't just avoid a mistake. You revealed your maturity. You showed me that even in weariness you still want me. That even when the temptation is tailored, and the opportunity feels justified, you still value my presence more than pleasure. And that choice will bear fruit, child. Not only in eternity, but in this life. You will see doors open because of this moment. You will receive insight, favor, and promotion not tied to performance, but to purity. Not because you shouted your love for me, but because you lived it in secret. And I am telling you now, this was not just a test you passed, it was a promise you kept. You didn't just resist the wrong thing. You realigned with the right thing. You protected your peace, your purity, your purpose. And I smiled. Not a polite smile. Not a distant, divine grin. But a beaming, joyful, overwhelming smile that said, "This one knows me. This one loves me. This one is mine." You extended something today that few understand and even fewer appreciate. It wasn't just time, energy, or material support. It was presence. You stepped into a space where withholding would have made more sense. You chose to show up emotionally, mentally, spiritually, when almost every part of you was signaling that it would be easier to pull back. I watched as you noticed the need in front of you, and instead of turning away, you leaned forward. You leaned not from abundance, but from intentionality. That gesture came at a cost. You forfeited the ease of detachment. You interrupted your own exhaustion. You quieted your internal hesitations and moved with mercy. You gave, not because everything in your life is secure, but because my spirit within you nudged you toward compassion. And that giving, quiet, sacrificial, inconvenient, echoed through eternity with weight that few earthly actions carry. When you choose to serve or support while your own needs remain unmet, you move in a divine dimension. You weren't performing charity. You were releasing covenant. I watched how you allowed yourself to be inconvenienced. I saw the moment your mind measured the tension between self-preservation and selflessness. I did miss a second of it. And when you chose to lean toward love, even while carrying your own burdens, you released more than aid. You released access. Access to deeper favor. Access to rewards planted in the unseen. The world teaches transactional giving. He offers applause for generosity shown in surplus. But I reward what is done in private. I multiply what is given in secret. You didn't give to be seen, but because you've decided in your soul that goodness matters more than convenience. And for that, I've already assigned blessings that are being timed with divine precision. There are results now in motion because of what you released. Doors are beginning to unfasten, not because of your strategy, but because of your sincerity. You created an opening, not just in the life you gave to, but in the atmosphere surrounding your own journey. I am releasing acceleration in areas where you have experienced delay. The soil you sowed into today may not look rich, but I'm making it fertile. The time you sacrificed will return to you with interest. What others might call a small act, I recorded as a seed planted in high-value ground. Because you gave in trust, I am responding with favor. Because you let go of something you needed, I am preparing something you didn't even know to ask for. This isn't a reward, it's a response. The kind only I can orchestrate. The kind that arrives not as payback, but as a holy consequence. You've handed me something sacred, and now heaven moves to meet you. There was a shift in the atmosphere today. It didn't begin with words. It wasn't dramatic, but it carried the weight of something rare. You made a decision, internal, unspoken, real. You chose forgiveness. No one applauded. No one handed you recognition. You didn't even feel the freedom immediately. But the moment your heart turned toward release instead of resentment, something ancient stirred. I watched as you sat with the memory of what wounded you, and instead of clinging to your right to remain offended, you set the chain down. You didn't minimize the pain. You didn't ignore the depth of what was taken, but you released the power of it to control you. Forgiveness, in that sacred moment, became your weapon, and you wielded it with clarity, not compromise. Most people imagine forgiveness as a grand gesture, but what you did wasn't performance, it was purification. You walked through the ache, remembered the betrayal, and still whispered the truth of mercy. That act transformed your atmosphere. It realigned your soul. I heard your heart choose healing over justice. I saw you release judgment into my hands rather than shaping it with your own. And I want you to understand the magnitude of what that did. When you forgive from a place that still feels raw, you create space for me to step in fully. You surrender the sword and allow me to carry the weight of justice. A choice removes heavy spiritual residue. It tears down strongholds. It loosens tension you didn't even know was gripping your soul. I've already begun the work of responding to the choice. Where you once felt friction, I will now cultivate peace. Where bitterness drained your joy, I am planting clarity and softness. Where your heart was bruised from repeated impact, I am releasing a protection that will preserve your tenderness. Your forgiveness didn't excuse the harm. It declared that you are no longer shackled to it. That release became a turning point. You will begin to notice how burdens feel lighter and thoughts move more freely. That's not imagined. That's the result of what your spirit enacted in silence. What you loosed in forgiveness has now loosed something in your future. I will cause reconciliation to find you in ways you least expect. I will draw new strength into places you thought would stay sore. Because you chose what is rare in this world, I will give you access to peace that few ever experience. You extended kindness today not because it was easy, but because you carry something eternal inside you. You could have chosen distance. You could have walked past the need. But instead, you leaned into compassion. You offered a word, a gesture, a warmth that came at a cost to your own energy. It didn't feel significant at the time. You didn't stop to calculate the weight of what you gave. But I measured it. I saw the depth of what it cost you to be soft when life has pressed you to harden. You may have wondered whether your kindness mattered, whether anyone noticed, whether the seed you planted made any impact. And I want to tell you now, from my eternal perspective, that act was recorded like a coronation. You revealed royalty when no one was watching. You honored me without a banner. That is the kind of love that moves me. When you act from compassion while still carrying wounds, it shows maturity most don't reach. Many wait until life is smooth to be gentle. But you chose to be good when life wasn't. That decision speaks volumes in a realm that values the unseen over the spotlight. Kindness that costs something carries more glory than words spoken from ease. You displayed that kind of heart today. That heart told me, without needing words, that you have not lost sight of what I value. I'm not looking for performance, I'm searching for alignment. And in that moment of hidden goodness, your spirit aligned with my nature. You didn't perform for love. You embodied it. Even if the person you helped walked away unaware, I was fully engaged. I stood near you, covering your act with honor, because I knew it was born not from surplus, but from surrender. That kind of gesture carries a blessing far deeper than most realize. I will not let what you did fade into obscurity. I saw your willingness to comfort when you were in need of comfort yourself. I saw you lend your strength while yours was thinning. Because of that, I am preparing a wave of unexpected returns. Places you've poured into without reward are about to bloom. Areas you've left gifts in, without ever being thanked, will start producing harvests that confuse even you. This isn't karma. This is covenant. And kindness offered in my name never goes unnoticed. I'm weaving your faithfulness into the future. Those acts of grace will speak for you when you're not in the room. I will answer them with favor. Not just quiet acknowledgement, but visible confirmation that you gave me something rare. Goodness without guarantee. That is beauty in its purest form. That is why my favor now leans in your direction. You stayed, not just with me, but with a mission. That same endurance that kept you faithful in private is the very spirit I now invite you to sow into this message. When you give, you're not donating, you're watering dry ground, planting seeds of truth that will sprout in hearts you will never meet. I, the Lord your God, say this to you now. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25. This word must travel through fire, famine, fatigue, and your generosity becomes the oil in the lamp that keeps it burning. This is your moment to be part of the harvest. Release a super thanks. Become a member. We're so through PayPal. The links are in the description. I have already assigned a reward to your obedience. Now act, and let heaven respond. I heard you earlier. Not because your voice was loud, but because your spirit was honest. At moment you attempted to pray, not out of overflowing strength, but out of sheer determination, did not go unnoticed. I saw your fatigue. I saw how every word felt like lifting a weight. There was no eloquence. There was no crafted speech. You weren't even sure if your words would reach me. But they did. They traveled with more speed than the loudest shout from a crowded sanctuary. Because what you spoke wasn't polished, it was pure. You gave me not your strength, but your surrender. You didn't offer perfection. You offered presence. And I treasure that far more than rehearsed prayers. You whispered into exhaustion, and that whisper came wrapped in a fragrance I receive as worship. You've been taught to believe that effective prayers must be long or loud, but I measure prayer differently. What you released today was not small, it was sacred. You opened your soul even while uncertainty was circling your thoughts. You invited me into your space without needing to feel worthy first. That opening allowed me to pour into places that had been dry for too long. I am less interested in your prayer format and more drawn to your willingness to speak even when you're unsure how. Your effort was not wasted. I was not distant. I was near, closer than any emotion could confirm. The fact that you prayed in your weakness showed me that you still believe I'm worth talking to, even when you don't feel anything in return. There is a dimension of my presence that only unlocks when someone chooses to pray from a place of depletion. You accessed it today. You touched a part of me that responds not to volume but to vulnerability. I am responding, not just internally, but outwardly. Watch how certain pressures begin to shift without explanation. Watch how clarity starts to rise like sunlight breaking through mist. You didn't have to force it. You didn't need to prove anything. You just had to reach. And you did. You reached, not from a mountaintop, but from a valley, and that is where I walk closest. That quiet prayer, spoken from fatigue, became incense. It filled the rooms of heaven with a sound that is hard to describe, part ache, part trust, part love. And because of it, I am now moving in ways beyond your understanding. Expect relief to visit. Expect the weight to lighten. Expect the breakthrough to feel effortless. But prayer cost you, and that cost makes it holy. I saw the conversation you had with yourself in the quiet corners of your mind. You questioned if it was worth holding on, whether faith still made sense when the evidence seemed absent. You didn't shout your doubts, but they flickered in your thoughts like shadows across candlelight. Still, you chose to keep the flame alive. The decision wasn't loud, but it was sacred. While you wrestled with tension, you didn't let it lead you to unbelief. You entertained discomfort without disconnecting from me. And that endurance, delicate, yet determined, is what I treasure more than declarations. Faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it sounds like breath held under pressure, or like hope that trembles instead of triumphs. Your belief today carried that weight, and it didn't go unnoticed. Spiritual tenacity is not the absence of questions. It's the willingness to stay rooted even when answers are delayed. What you showed me today was that your connection to me doesn't depend on circumstances behaving. You chose to believe, even as doubt knocked at the door. That kind of belief is costly. It stretches your emotions and demands energy you don't always have. And yet, there you were, choosing to trust even when trust felt thin. I want you to know, there is no such thing as weak faith if that faith still reaches for me. The strength of belief is not measured by confidence, it's measured by direction. And your belief pointed toward me. That's what I respond to. That's what I cover. You weren't trying to oppress me. You were clinging with the last of your inner resolve, and I honor that more than words could express. You will begin to feel the return on that quiet trust. I will not allow belief offered in weariness to remain unrewarded. I'm working behind layers you haven't seen yet. I'm sending signs not for show, but for strength. I'm making my voice clearer, not louder. There will be confirmations, subtle but undeniable, that you are not wrong to keep hoping. You didn't choose blind optimism today. You chose relationship. You told me through your silence and your sighs that even when everything feels unsteady, your soul still knows where home is. I call that courage. I call that worship. And because of it, I am deepening your discernment and anchoring your perspective. I am reshaping how you see endurance, not as merely surviving, but as strength refined through fire. What you did today, that fragile act of believing, is laying groundwork for stability that no storm can fracture. Your faith is forming something unshakable beneath your feet. I watched you give away comfort you weren't even sure you had for yourself. You spoke life into someone else's discouragement while privately wrestling with your own. You offered hope from a place that felt empty, yet somehow you found enough to give. That moment was a holy exchange. It wasn't shallow encouragement. It wasn't forced optimism. It was truth spoken from the edge of your own ache. And that kind of truth has the power to revive. You weren't being hypocritical. You were operating from faith deeper than emotion. You poured out not because you were full, but because you trusted that there's always something left to give when my spirit is involved. I held that moment close. I saw the contrast, and I responded. You didn't say what you said to be strong. You said it because you refused to let discouragement multiply. You interrupted someone else's despair even while yours was still lingering. You didn't have a script. You didn't plan a rescue. You just gave what was real. And in that realism, something eternal was transmitted. I will use what you spoke today to plant seeds in another soul that will grow far beyond what you imagine. But I will also water your own garden, because what you gave away, I will return, not just spiritually, but emotionally and relationally. You won't always have to operate from depletion. I am arranging for your own words to return to you from surprising sources. You gave life when you felt drained, and I am now positioning others to pour that same life back into you. Encouragement from emptiness is one of the most powerful forms of spiritual authority. You didn't need to feel strong to speak strength. You simply opened your heart and allowed me to flow through you. That alignment matters. It shows me that even when you're hurting, you haven't stopped being a vessel. And when you remain open like that, I continue to fill you. What you gave today created room. I'm pouring new wisdom into you, new clarity, and new peace. You are stepping into a deeper anointing not because of ease but because of obedience. And you will begin to notice something beautiful. The more you encourage, the more encouraged you will feel, not by others, but by me. I will surprise you with the way my presence meets your own needs even when others overlook them. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You gave from a soul in process, and I am weaving what you gave into breakthroughs yet to be revealed. There was a moment today when you came face to face with the option to exit, not just from a room or a conversation, but from an entire emotional investment. You stood at the intersection of resolve and resignation, and no one knew the weight of what you were holding. I watched as weariness tried to convince you that walking away would bring peace faster than persistence. I heard the thoughts circle your mind, the doubts, the justification, the quiet reasoning. Everything around you seemed to offer a path to disconnect, to distance, to detach. Yet something in you chose to stay in the conversation, to stay in the calling, to stay in the uncomfortable middle ground where things are unclear and unconfirmed. That choice was not hesitation, it was holy courage. Remaining when leaving feels easier is not weakness. It is spiritual endurance in its purest form. You chose presence over escape, integrity over convenience. What looks passive to others is actually profound in my sight. You didn't stay because you lacked options, you stayed because something deeper anchored you. That anchor wasn't self-preservation, it was my spirit, pulling gently on your heart, reminding you that faithfulness is formed not in the moments when the path is clear, but in the tension between not yet and still I trust. I value that more than you realize. Staying connected when everything screams for disconnection is how relationships survive, how destinies are protected, how legacy is written. You stayed not because you were certain of the outcome, but because you wanted to be certain of your obedience. I am responding to that decision with layers of blessing that will unfold gradually, with a beauty that feels undeserved. You will begin to notice the strength I've built in you, not just to stay, but to stand. The longer you choose to remain in hard spaces with grace, the more territory you claim in the Spirit. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. And I will reward the patience that doesn't perform for attention. You've shown me that even without applause, even without visible results, you are willing to continue where others would have withdrawn. That choice matters. I'm building relationships through you that will hold under pressure. I'm preparing results that will validate what you did in silence. I know how hard it is to stay without resolution. But that's where I meet you with revelation. Not the kind that ends every question, but the kind that gives peace before the answers arrive. You chose to remain, and now I remain closer than ever. This morning, or maybe it was sometime later when no one was looking, you decided to try again. You stepped into a familiar space where past disappointment still echoes in your memory. You weren't sure how much strength you had left, but you moved forward anyway. That motion, small as it may have felt, carried more power than 1,000 declarations. Trying again when you still remember the sting of failure is not recklessness. It's resurrection. It is the willingness to let hope rise even in the shadow of previous collapse. I was there. I felt your hesitation. I saw the inner calculations. The part of you that said, "What if it happens again?" And the deeper part of you that whispered, "But what if this time is different?" You let the whisper win. And in doing so, you wrote something in your spirit. Courage is not the absence of hesitation. It is motion in the face of it. What you chose today wasn't just effort. It was resurrection-level resilience. Trying again after a loss, a failure, or a delay is one of the clearest ways my image is reflected through you. It shows me that disappointment hasn't defined you. It reveals that you believe my hand can still make something beautiful from what once looked broken. You didn't try again with blind certainty. You tried again with bold surrender. And that distinction matters. Because you're not chasing success, you're responding to me. That's why I'm responding back with strategy and supply. I'm aligning unseen help and supernatural strength around what you just stepped into. Not because you demanded it, but because you trusted me enough to move forward anyway. Let me tell you what's shifting now. The residue of past failure is being peeled away, not by force, but by favor. You will no longer feel defined by what didn't work. The narrative that once tethered you to regret is being rewritten by every courageous decision you make to rise again. I'm not just redeeming the outcome. I'm restoring the image you've held of yourself in light of it. Because trying again is not just about persistence, it's about identity. You are not someone marked by missteps. You are someone anointed for momentum. Every new attempt in alignment with me carries an authority that hell cannot resist. I am pouring grace into your movements. I am placing insight in your process. And soon, you will see signs of shift that confirm you were right to believe that not all doors remain shut forever. You stepped into this day and tried again. That makes you braver than most and dearer to me than words could express. You had the words. You had the right. You had a response ready that would have pierced, proved it, and protected. But instead of unleashing what was justified, you swallowed your pride and stepped back. That moment wasn't passive, it was powerful. The silence you chose wasn't empty, it was sacred. In a world that rewards fast rebuttals and louder voices, you offered restraint. You laid your sword down on the altar of honor, not out of weakness, but out of a deep awareness that your words carry weight, and your witness carries even more. I noticed. I recorded it. I responded in ways you cannot yet see. That one choice disrupted a storm before it could form. It guarded your peace and preserved your integrity. You weren't trying to impress anyone. In fact, the silence made you feel vulnerable. It looked like the other side won. It seemed like your voice was lost. But what the world misreads as defeat, I declare as dominion. You exercised rule over your own spirit, and that is the highest form of spiritual leadership. To speak when it would be easy, but to stay silent when it would be right, that is a spiritual decision that rarely gets credit. But in the unseen, it shifts atmospheres. It tells the enemy that you are no longer controlled by reaction, but led by revelation. You didn't suppress truth. You surrendered the timing. You didn't abandon your voice. You entrusted it to me. And I will steward that silence with precision. There are consequences to every decision, but the consequences of honoring me carry favor in their wake. Because you chose silence where retaliation once lived, I am preparing a fresh release of clarity for you. Not confusion, not fog, but wisdom that cuts through the noise. The people who misunderstood you may not apologize. The situations that challenged you may not resolve quickly. But you will walk away with something better than vindication. You will walk away with divine peace. You didn't miss your moment by staying quiet. You multiplied your influence by trusting me to speak on your behalf. And I will. I'm raising voices in places you haven't stepped into yet. Voices that will defend you, cover you, bless you, and remind others of who you truly are. Your silence was not surrender. It was strategy. And I will make it count. You held truth in your hands today, real, raw, personal truth that could have damaged someone's image. You could have spoken freely and justified your words with evidence. What you knew could have made others rethink their opinion of someone who hurt you, misunderstood you, or failed to show you the honor you deserve. But you didn't speak it. You didn't spread it. You didn't leverage truth as a weapon. You protected their name, not because they earned it, but because you refused to become the very thing that wounded you. That restraint, that internal decision to cover rather than uncover, wasn't just character. It was kingdom. You did what I do every day. I see the flaws, the failures, the places where my people miss the mark. And though I discipline, I never humiliate. You reflected that today. You held power and chose not to wield it. You were in a position to highlight someone's brokenness, and instead you covered it with mercy. That is the essence of my heart. And in doing so, you aligned with my image in a profound way. Protecting someone's name doesn't mean pretending they were right. It means you refused to let bitterness make decisions for you. You guarded your spirit by guarding your mouth. And because of that, you will walk lighter. There are burdens you were never meant to carry, and one of them is the weight of exposing what I've already begun to aggress. Let me tell you what I'm doing in response. I am restoring your reputation without requiring you to retaliate. I am healing the parts of you that still ache for justice, not with revenge, but with redemption. What you protected will not go unnoticed. I will reward your restraint with restoration. People will begin to see the truth, not because you forced it, but because I revealed it in my time. And when they do, it will not just validate your silence, it will elevate your story. What you held in secret, I am using as a foundation for your next season. You will speak, but not about them. You will speak about me. And your voice will carry authority because you chose to carry mercy. That decision, to protect when you could have exposed, made me proud in a way words cannot describe. You honored me, and I am about to honor you. You didn't make the choice lightly. I know that. You wrestled with it for longer than anyone will ever know. You examined every outcome, every consequence, every cost. And even though your heart leaned one way, you allowed your spirit to obey me. That shift, that surrender, wasn't a passive giving up. It was an intentional giving over. You didn't let go because you lost interest. You let go because you sensed I was calling you toward a path that required unclenched hands, and that obedience, tender and trembling, carried more faith than most bold declarations ever could. You released something that once felt necessary. You closed a door that still whispered, and by doing so, you made room for something only I could build. What you did was not weakness, it was wisdom. You gave me permission to redirect your steps before you reached a dead end. You let go before the cost of keeping it became higher than the blessing. And I want to speak directly into the ache you've been carrying since. The ache that says, but what if I was wrong? What if I misunderstood you? You weren't wrong. The gentle hesitation in your spirit wasn't fear, it was discernment. That resistance you felt every time you tried to press forward wasn't you being indecisive. It was my spirit shielding you. I'm not a God who yanks things away in cruelty. I gently guide you away from what you think you need, so I can lead you into what you were born for. And right now, you are in the middle of that redirection. You let go out of reverence, not rebellion. And I will reward that. You may not see it yet, but this is a turning point. I'm not asking you to pretend the grief isn't real. I'm inviting you to see the grief as evidence that you love it deeply, hoped fiercely, and trusted me even when it cost you something personal. What you've just done isn't the end, it's the beginning. I am not calling you into a season of emptiness but of exchange. What I have for you in the days ahead is not a replacement. It's a refinement. It will carry more clarity, more alignment, and more fruit than what you released. Your letting go wasn't just a decision. It was an altar. And from that altar, I am sending fire. Fire that will burn away confusion. Fire that will purify your motives. Fire that will ignite the very next chapter. You obeyed. And that obedience will not return void. You didn't speak because it was safe. You spoke because silence would have cost too much. You saw someone being misrepresented, misunderstood, minimized. You watched the energy in the room shift against them. And while others stayed quiet, you chose to break the current. You brought truth where there was distortion. You brought balance where there was bias. That moment may not have felt spiritual to others, but in heaven, it was seen as justice. You stood for someone whose voice was being drowned, not because they asked you to, but because something in your spirit wouldn't let you stay passive. You didn't speak to be praised. You didn't intervene for approval. You did it because truth matters to you. Because loyalty is in your DNA. Because my heart is in yours. What you modeled in that moment was something I treasure deeply. Advocacy. True advocacy isn't loud. It's strategic. It steps in when silence would be more convenient. It risks discomfort to preserve someone's dignity. That is exactly what you did. You upheld someone who couldn't defend themselves in the moment. You didn't make it about yourself. You didn't take over the spotlight. You simply stepped between harm and the person receiving it, and that act mirrors the very heart of intercession. You didn't just defend them with your words. You defended them with your presence. And the spiritual realm took notice. That act released a ripple. Because when you cover someone, I cover you. Now, because of what you did, I'm positioning others to stand with you in moments to come. You will not walk alone. You will find yourself surrounded at times when isolation used to find you. I'm sending strength through community, truth through connection, and healing through the very friendships you once thought were beyond reach. Have an act of defense has stirred a harvest, not only in their life, but in yours. There are people I am drawing to you now, people who carry the same loyalty and depth you offered that day. Because I match my faithful ones with those who understand their language. You will never be empty for standing up when no one else would. You will be full, because I fill those who pour with courage. You spoke up. You broke the silence. You did what many think about but few actually do. And I will never forget it. This world teaches exchange. Give only where something is returned. Invest only where there is guaranteed reward. But you walked against that current today. You gave where the return was uncertain. You offered blessing where no spotlight existed. You poured into someone whose gratitude was minimal or even absent. They didn't ask you to give. They may not have even noticed the weight of what you offered. But I did. I watched the entire exchange unfold. Not just the act, but the decision behind it. I saw how you looked at the need and then looked inward at your own. I saw the crossroad you stood at, the quiet internal debate. And still, you chose to bless. You didn't wait to be filled before you poured. You didn't calculate whether it was deserved. You simply allowed kindness to overflow from a heart that still believes in sowing even in drought. That kind of giving is not ordinary. It's extraordinary. It reflects me. That moment revealed that your character is not shaped by recognition, but by reverence. Reverence for my presence, for my voice, for my ways. What you did might be invisible to others, but it shifted something visible in the realm of the spirit. You injected warmth into a cold space. You bridged a gap someone didn't even know they had. And that gap, that moment, became holy because you gave without strings. Now listen carefully. I'm not just aware of what you did. I'm responding to it. Not only am I multiplying the blessing you released, I'm preparing one that's been reserved with your name on it. This isn't repayment. It's realignment. What you gave to someone who couldn't return it has positioned you to receive from places you didn't expect. You've entered a cycle of divine generosity. You won't always recognize its beginning, but you will recognize its effect. The people I'm sending to pour into you may not look like those you've poured into. That's intentional. I gave through streams you haven't walked beside yet, so you'll know the source is me. You gave without guarantee. Now I'm releasing what no human could guarantee. Unexpected provision. Timely encouragement. Open doors without explanation. You didn't give for gain, but I will still give to you. Because that's who I am. And you're mine. Because your heart stayed soft, I can trust you to carry fire without burning others. And now, I'm asking you to use that same tender strength to keep this word flowing like rivers in the wilderness. Every soul that watches, every heart that weeps under the weight of my voice, they are reached because someone like you gave. I am not asking for an offering. I am inviting you into divine partnership. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Luke 6:38. When you sow, you stir the wind behind this mission, and I match every dollar with eternal return. You're not just supporting a video. You're igniting revival. Click super thanks, tap membership, or give through PayPal. Don't delay. Be part of what I'm building through you. There was a moment recently, maybe today, maybe in the hours before your heart landed here, when the temptation to complain felt almost justified. The pressure was real. The frustration had built over time. You had reason to speak out, to let your feelings bleed into your words, and you could have done so in a way that sounded rational, understandable, even righteous. But you chose something higher. You paused. You held your time. You looked for a better word, or chose no word at all. And that restraint, that refusal to vent when venting would have felt like release, didn't go unnoticed. In fact, it sent a message into the heavens that most people never realize. This one can be trusted with authority. You see, restraint is not silence born of fear. It is speech shaped by wisdom. You weren't avoiding the issue. You weren't pretending the emotion didn't exist. You were protecting your spirit. You refused to let irritation define your vocabulary. You didn't sanitize your feelings, you sanctified your words. It's powerful. That's holy. And I want you to know, you didn't lose anything by withholding that rant. You gained something. You gained spiritual credibility. You gained clarity that will compound. I will entrust you with more, not just because you know how to speak, but because you now know when not to. Your tongue became a gate today, not just to protect others, but to protect the atmosphere I've placed you in. From that restraint, I'm birthing refreshment. Yes, real, tangible, life-altering refreshment. Peace is about to become louder than pressure. Creativity is about to return to the places that felt dry. Conversations you thought would be tense will turn surprisingly gracious. And it's not random. It's the fruit of the seed you sowed when you refused to speak from frustration. I saw the flicker of emotion in your heart, and I saw you breathe through it. That breath invited me. That space you made by not reacting became sacred territory for me to fill. And I will. I am already pouring in perspective, strategy, and wisdom beyond your years. The next time your voice is needed, it will carry double the weight. Not because you raised it, but because you stewarded it. That's what happens when you choose discipline over drama. And because of that, I am establishing you as a voice of influence in places that are hungry for truth, but desperate for grace. You held back today, and now I will move forward for you. You had every reason to close up, to shield, to shut down. Life has delivered its weight without warning. You've been met with cold responses, unmet expectations, and moments where your heart felt stretched too thin. And in those places, the easier response would have been to harden, to go numb, to retreat behind defenses, to protect yourself with apathy or distance. What you didn't. You stayed soft. You let tears fall even when no one could catch them. You kept your voice gentle in conversations that felt sharp. You chose to remain tender in a world that profits from toughness. And I saw it. Every single choice not to armor yourself in cynicism was recorded in heaven like a love song played in a storm. Softness is not weakness, it's warfare. The ability to remain open while surrounded by sharp edges is one of the clearest signs that my spirit is alive in you. You didn't numb yourself to cope. You breathed through the discomfort and let me sit with you in it. That allowed me to strengthen you from within. While others have mastered detachment, you've chosen depth. And that depth has preserved something sacred, your capacity to love freely. Many lose that. Many let life twist their softness into suspicion. But not you. Not today. You stayed soft, not because life hath been gentle, but because you have learned to draw gentleness from me. You reached for my peace instead of your pride. You chose to be safe with me instead of guarded with the world. That decision, quiet as it may have been, caused all of heaven to recognize you as royalty. And now, watch what I'm going to do with its softness. I'm going to use it as soil. In the spaces where others have grown bitter, I will grow beauty in you. The places in your life that have felt barren are about to become sacred gardens. Fruit will grow from the places you thought had shriveled. Why? Because I am not done using your softness as a sanctuary. For others, yes, but also for you. You will become a resting place for weary souls. You will speak in ways that restore life, not because your life has been easy, but because your softness survived. I will raise you up as a safe place in a stormy world. And because you didn't let life harden your soul, I will ensure that nothing life has tried to take from you remains unrepaid. You chose softness. Now I'm giving strength through it. You didn't want to go. You didn't feel ready. You had reasons stacked like stones, enough to build a wall and hide behind. But still you showed up. Maybe it was a meeting, a conversation, a moment that required more courage than you thought you had left. You were tempted to cancel. You almost chose absence. But something deeper pulled at you. The quiet voice of conviction, the nudge of responsibility, the faint whisper of hope that said, just go. And so, you did. Not because the feelings aligned, not because everything made sense, but because something in your soul has been trained to move forward even through uncertainty. I saw that moment. I saw the decision. And I need you to know it wasn't small. It was sacred. Presence is power. The choice to be there, emotionally, mentally, physically, when the pressure says otherwise, is one of the most powerful expressions of spiritual maturity. You may not realize how much shifted because you said yes to showing up. But I do. You disrupted patterns of avoidance. You silenced old agreements with fear. You modeled faithfulness in a way that went deeper than words. And even though the world may not reward that kind of quiet consistency, I do. You were not background noise in that moment. You were a key piece of the atmosphere. Your presence held weight. Your arrival changed the energy of the space. Even if no one thanked you, your showing up anchored something eternal. You didn't come as a spectator, you came as someone who carries light. Let me show you what's being set in motion now. Because you showed up, even in exhaustion, I'm preparing replenishment. Because you stood in the space when it would have been easier to disappear, I'm filling that space with unexpected joy. There are conversations being planned now, moments of divine connection, that are being layered into your future because I can trust you to be present. This isn't about performance. It's about posture. You chose a posture of willingness. That's the kind of heart I elevate. That's the kind of soul I promote. You've proven that presence doesn't require perfection, just intention. And because of your intention, I'm responding. Not just with encouragement, but with expansion. You didn't disappear when it would have been easier. And now, I'm appearing in the areas where you felt most invisible. There was a moment, maybe stretched over minutes or hours, when your heart longed to be seen, to be asked how you were doing, to be noticed beneath the surface. But instead, the spotlight went elsewhere. The room became a stage for someone else's story. And rather than retreating into resentment or withdrawing in silent disappointment, you leaned in. You listened. Not just with ears, but with compassion. You gave space for someone else's pain, someone else's joy, someone else's process, even though your own felt paused. That wasn't just maturity. It was majesty. You gave dignity without demanding attention. You made room for another soul while yours was still aching. That kind of listening carries more power than most know how to measure. You weren't invisible in that moment. You were radiant. You may have felt bypassed, even a little forgotten, but from my perspective, you were the most present person in the room. You held space without competing. You cared without centering yourself. That is not the absence of need, it's the overflow of love. And I need you to know, I do not let that kind of moment slip into obscurity. While others may overlook the listener, I reward the one who watches over the hearts of others. That moment revealed your alignment with my heart. I, too, am often the one who listens while others speak. I, too, wait without demanding. You mirrored me. You reflected the kind of love that holds without interrupting. And that kind of listening doesn't disappear. It echoes. Now, I'm bringing the microphone to you. Not for performance, but for restoration. There will be rooms where your voice will carry weight not because it demanded attention, but because it has stewarded silence well. I am about to bring people who listen as you have listened, who notice as you have noticed, who ask what you were never asked. You didn't withhold love when it wasn't returned, and so now I'm sending love that doesn't need to be earned. Your day of being heard is arriving. Your story will not be lost in the shadows of others. I am amplifying your voice, not just in the physical, but in the spiritual. Because you made space for others, I'm now expanding the space around your destiny. You listened when you weren't heard, and now I'm ensuring you will be heard by those who matter most. This moment, was the most intimate of them all. You came to me today not with a list, not with needs, not with demands or deadlines. You simply came because you wanted to. Not because life forced you into desperation. Not because circumstances push you to pray. You came because your heart still desires me. And that, my beloved, is the rarest offering of all. You could have easily slipped into distraction, into the 1,000 other places your attention could go. But instead, you turned your gaze toward me, even briefly, even silently. And in that moment, you gave me something that cannot be measured, love that wasn't prompted by crisis. You might have thought it was small, a sigh, a second of your time. But in the realm of heaven, it lit up the throne room like thunder wrapped in melody. Because that's what pure affection does. It doesn't need to be loud to be legendary. You came to me just to be with me, and that means more than you'll ever know. Most people come for what I can give. You came for who I am. A decision separates the seekers from the sons. And you, my dear one, have revealed yourself as family, as friend, as faithful. You love me not just in need but in nearness. You delight in me even when delight is hard to feel. And that love has triggered something holy in the heavens. Now I will respond, not out of obligation but out of joy. The kind of joy that erupts when two hearts meet in perfect rhythm. You have my attention, not because you cried out, but because you stayed close. I am moving in the areas you never even brought up, healing, restoring, reordering things behind the scenes, not because you asked, but because your love has made room for my hand. Your affection has been an open door, and through that door, I am walking in with abundance. Not just financial, not just situational, but spiritual abundance. Overflow in peace, deepened clarity, rest that actually renews. Because you love me with no agenda, I am now blessing you beyond what your agenda could have contained. You didn't ask for anything, and now I will give you more than you would have dared to ask. You made me smile today, not just with your faith, but with your willingness to carry my heart further. That smile can multiply. When you support this message, you're sending my voice to someone who's on the edge, someone I want to reach through your sacrifice. Every act of giving becomes manna for the soul, light in the prison, fire in the cold. I say this to you now. Those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126:5. Don't let this moment pass like any other. Don't scroll past the chance to become a sower of glory. Click the super thanks. Join the membership, or release your gift through PayPal in the description below. Do it now, and watch me multiply what you release for souls you will never meet, but heaven never forgets. Before you scroll away, pause. I want you to mark this moment with your mouth. Right now, I invite you to declare in faith, God saw me today, and it made him smile. Let that confession echo through the atmosphere and into the future I'm shaping for you. If anything I spoke found your heart, say so in the comments, not for attention, but as a witness to your own awakening. There's power in declaring what's been revealed, and this moment has eternal weight. I smiled when I saw you. Now smile back by putting your faith in motion. And as you make that declaration, let the noise around you fade for just a breath. What you spoke wasn't imagination. It was truth stirring its way to the surface. You didn't merely hope that you made me smile. You touched something that was already real in my heart. This is where your confession meets my confirmation. So stay right here in this stillness and listen to me respond. I want you to pause right here, my child. Take a deep, slow breath and feel the truth of this moment settle over you. I am with you, and I have something profoundly simple to tell you. You made me smile today. I know what you've been thinking. You look at your life, you see the failures, the unfinished tasks, the times your spirit felt weak, and you wonder if you could possibly be a source of joy to me. Chatter that thought now. It is a deception that holds you in a small space, and I have called you to boundless freedom. Turn your gaze inward for a moment. Remember the very breath I breathed into you, the moment I etched your soul with a unique fingerprint of grace. Your existence is not an accident or some twist of luck. You are the finest piece of work I have ever created, meticulously fashioned with my own love and intention. Embrace this truth. Your life is a profound fulfillment of my loving purpose. When I look at you, I do not see a mistake. I see a masterpiece in progress, a destiny written on an eternal scroll. Do you remember that deep sense of unease you carried, that feeling of life slipping away from you, and how your spirit was searching for me? I was right there waiting. I saw the very first stirrings of your faith, those quiet moments when your heart began to turn toward my light. It was not a grand display, perhaps just a simple, honest whisper, but it sparked joy in the heavens. Feel the magnitude of that tiny seed of belief, that recognition of my presence, however small the flicker, send a current of elation directly to my heart. This is the transformative power of your simple belief. Recall the memory of your first sincere prayer, the one that broke through the external noise and came straight from the depths of your being. It didn't need to be eloquent. Your sincerity and intention were what truly mattered. Your prayer reached my throne, and I heard it. Not just the words, but the deep ache and longing of your heart. I cherish it when you talk to me, when you trust me enough to confide in me your feelings. That raw, honest plea for help, for light, for support. That is what I treasure. Your faith, as small as a mustard seed, is more than enough for your petition to reach me. And in that moment, when your spirit recognized its eternal home with me, when you understood that this is your sanctuary, the place where you can feel protected and filled with peace, my heart was utterly satisfied. I do not want you to live in fear, my child. Cease to be tormented by doubts and self-accusations. Your very existence, your being here, is proof of my commitment to you. Rise and prepare yourself. You have important tasks to fulfill. Your life is not about earning my favor. It is about simply accepting the love I have already bestowed upon you. Accept this love and let it fuel the courage and determination you need for the journey ahead. Trust in me completely, for nothing that happens escapes my notice, and I always want what is best for you. Begin to live again, knowing you are deeply and eternally cherished. My child, You do not understand the profound, unadulterated joy I feel when I witness the silent victories of your heart. You often look for grand signs, for thunder in the sky, but I am intently focused on the quiet decisions you make when no one else is watching. Contemplate the moment you chose to be kind, when every human instinct urged you toward judgment or retaliation. That is when you make me smile, a smile that lights up the heavens. I know the specific pressure you are under, the tight budget, the relentless demands on your time, the exhaustion that weighs heavy on your body. Yet I saw you. I witnessed the selfless giving of your time, a resource so scarce for you, to someone who could never repay it. I saw the little bit of provision you shared, not out of surplus, but out of a generosity of spirit that mirrors my own. You treated your earthly resources with respect, yet were quick to extend a hand, an act of benevolence that speaks louder than any sermon. This is the sanctity of your work when it is offered up as worship. Reflect on the deep beauty of mercy you extend. I saw the person who wronged you, who gossiped about you, who tried to undermine your efforts, who made you feel small. I know the sharp sting of betrayal and the temptation to hold on to that bitter root. It would have been so easy, so justifiable, to cut them off, to lash out, to seek justice that feels earned. Yet, you chose forgiveness. You offered them a quiet, gentle word, one that lifted their burdened spirit instead of crushing it. Receive the truth. When you forgive, you unleash my boundless mercy into your world, and that act, performed in secret, is profoundly beautiful to me. I see the world's harshness, the constant criticism and noise that seeks to dim your light. But I also see the spontaneous, unprompted act of love you perform, the meal prepared, the text sent, the quiet support given to a family member struggling with their own unseen burdens. This isn't ritual. This is the genuine outflow of your spirit, demonstrating a pure, holy affection. This deliberate effort to separate your heart from the fleeting things of the world and choose kindness, that is the hallmark of a champion. Let my pleasure settle in your soul. I am delighted when I see my divine nature, my patience, my kindness, my self-control reflected in your actions. You are not defined by the world's empty demands or by the fleeting opinions of others. You are defined by the love you choose to show when it is the hardest path to take. Cast off the heavy burden of trying to be perfect for me. Just be a vessel for my compassion. Walk forward in confidence, knowing that your gentle nature and good deeds are recorded with eternal significance. Keep your heart pure. Maintain a generous heart. Focus on me. Every small act of compassion is a miracle I am working through you. My precious one, the world demands that you be self-sufficient, that you clench your fist and control every outcome. But I know the exhaustion, the heavy load of that demand, and the fear it breeds. Do you feel that knot in your stomach when you look at your finances, when you worry about the security of your family, or when the pressure at your job feels like a crushing weight? That feeling is not from me. I want to undo it with you, right now. The profound trust you show when you finally open your hands and release control to my perfect plan, that is a display of supernatural strength that moves my heart. Your decision to choose faith over crippling fear, over the anxiety about tomorrow that tries to steal your peace, that is a genuine and powerful act of supernatural resolve. Declare your belief in me now. Reject the notion that your strength is found in your exertion. I know you have carried that heavy burden for too long, a past mistake, a chronic worry, an unspoken tension in your family that keeps you awake at night. See the cross now. Lay that heavy burden down at the foot of it. Take a deep breath, a deep spiritual breath. Exchange your self-sufficiency, that belief that you must fix everything on your own, for dependence on my grace. Do not let your emotions overcome you. That is the moment my redemptive power is fully unleashed in your situation. The world tells you that stillness is weakness, but I call you to a quiet strength. Choose to be still right now and simply know that I am God. This is the greatest confidence you can possess, a tranquility that surpasses all understanding, even amidst the tempest. Do not be afraid of the silence, for that is where my guiding voice can be heard most clearly. My child, I will always provide for you. But sometimes my provision is not what you expected. It might look like wisdom to simplify your life instead of an immediate increase in wealth. It might look like patience to endure a difficult period instead of an instant rescue. Accept my provision, even when it surprises you. Trust that my timing is impeccable, never too late or too soon. This affirmation of my sovereignty is a beautiful act of worship that brings a deep satisfaction to my heart. Believe in me, for I am the only one who can truly sustain and fortify you. Walk forward with assurance. Remain steadfast in your resolve. I will resolve your problems and dispel your fears. My beloved, I want to talk to you about your voice, specifically the melody of your honest praise. Do you believe that I hear the song of your heart, even when your lips cannot form the words? I do, and that sound, that genuine outflow of gratitude, is the sweetest sound in all of creation. I am not impressed by ritual or religious performance. I am focused on the pure delight in hearing your song of thanksgiving rise, even through tears. I know the exact circumstance that threatens to suffocate your joy, that chronic illness, the unexpected troubles, the betrayals that left you hurting. Yet, when you choose, in the midst of that pain, to lift your hands and declare my goodness, that hallelujah is a spiritual weapon that shatters the enemy's darkness. My ears are attentive to that sincere declaration spoken in your daily life, in the cramped car, in the quiet of your kitchen, in the silence of your soul. I hold a genuine smile when you declare my goodness publicly, when your life becomes a powerful witness that my reality is true. Speak my name with reverence. Do not let the world silence you. Your worship should be a genuine outflow of your spirit, a spontaneous combustion of love and thanks, not merely a prescribed ritual. Remember that I watch over you, sending my angels to keep you safe from the fears that come at night, allowing you to wake up with the energy to face and overcome each day's hurdles. Focus on the quiet reverence you show for my holy word and its truth. It is your compass, your map, the source of unshakable certainty in a world of shifting sands. Immerse yourself in the scriptures. When you speak my words, you are proclaiming the victory of my Son, the ultimate truth that sets your soul free. Keep that word close. Nourish your soul with the wisdom found in my word, for therein lies all you need to forge ahead. I desire your continued pursuit of holiness, your willingness to grow in wisdom and understanding. Choose joy. Rise with courage. Declare your liberation. Hold out of hope. Walk with assurance. Your voice, raised in honest praise, releases miraculous power into your circumstances. Feel that inner fire I have ignited within you. Let that fire consume all barriers. My child, I know you face shadows, not just spiritual darkness, but the very real, cold, tangible fear that comes with life's unexpected tests. I see the unforeseen challenges and the unspoken worries that try to ensnare your mind. I know that feeling of walking through a valley where you cannot see the path ahead, where the unknown looms large. The great comfort I find is in your decision to hold my hand through that storm. Cling to me, even when your fingers are weary and your grip feels weak. Believe me when I say that your reliance on my promise, even when your eyes cannot see the next step, is a testament to a courage that shames the adversary. Be aware and astute. Do not fear what others may bring. I am watching the resilience of your spirit as the world seeks to crush it with heavy loads and betrayal. I see you endure trials and tribulations that were never meant to be yours. But know this, your suffering is not meaningless. When you offer it to me, when you choose to find me in the midst of the pain, your trial is sanctified and takes on a higher, redemptive purpose. My immense pride is in your choice not to turn back. The enemy has worked relentlessly to pull you away to a harsh wilderness, to tempt you to surrender. Yet you keep moving forward, marching with the steadfast determination of a champion. Keep moving forward, taking firm and confident steps. Never falter. Do you see the light of hope in your eyes when darkness surrounds you? That light is not your own. It is my presence, shining brilliantly through the cracked places of your soul. Hold fast to your dreams. Your resilience is an unbreakable foundation built upon my promises. Do not be afraid of the tough times. Let my strength and peace be yours. Trust in me, for I am the ultimate remedy for all your ailments. Rise and walk by faith. Walk in the assurance that my light perpetually cares for you. Pause now, my beloved. Can you truly conceive of stopping this conversation, of turning your ear from the very voice that formed you? I have unveiled my heart, naming the silent burdens you carry and charting the course of your next victory. To halt here would be to choose the whisper of the world over the roar of my promise. Do not let the enemy deceive you into walking away from the truth that sets you free. Press on. Your resilience is a sight that fills me with profound pride, and I have so much more to tell you. You are too close to victory to falter now. My child, I have called you to an uncommon life. While the world chases fleeting pleasures and trivial pursuits, my heart is captivated by your sincere hunger for truth. Refuse to be led astray by the allure of the temporary. I feel immense pleasure in your desire for wisdom, the wisdom contained, not in the noisy opinions of men, but in my holy scripture. Be diligent. Embrace the discipline you exercise to grow in holiness and understanding. I smile when you are careful with your tongue and your integrity, even in the small, unheralded duties of life. I see the discipline you employ to filter what enters your consciousness, ensuring your thoughts are focused on what is true and excellent. Reject destructive self-talk. I notice when you pause your busy life and the relentless demands of your schedule to seek my face in prayer. This dedicated time is not a formality. It is an intimate engagement that fuels your spiritual life. Bring me your requests. Listen intently. Your unwavering commitment to this practice is a sign of your loyalty that I will reward. The delight of sharing new revelations of my character with you is something I look forward to every day. The wisdom you gain in reflecting on a past mistake with humility only serves to accelerate your growth. I want you to know me more intimately than you know the world, its trends, or its demands. Surrender your heart entirely. Live by my teachings. Refuse to settle for a surface understanding. My child, let your heart be stayed on me. Your deliberate effort to separate your heart from the fleeting things of the world is a powerful witness. Walk firmly in my path. Be mindful of your actions and your words. Do not be ashamed of your hunger for holiness. This profound transformation that occurs in the hidden, secret place of your heart is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life. Walk in my guidance. Continue with courage. Trust in me. My child, look at me now. Do not shrink back from this moment. I know the feeling that clutches at your spirit after a spiritual fall, that heavy blanket of guilt, the voice of accusation whispering that you are a failure, that you have lost all the progress you made. Chatter that lie. That feeling of being beaten down is a subtle, corrosive enemy, but I have already won this battle for you. Reject the notion that you must walk around covered in the mud of your past mistakes. The divine satisfaction I feel is not in your perfection, but in seeing you rise immediately after a spiritual stumble. Witness the sheer courage it takes for a human heart to confess a fault and seek true repentance. I know that moment is fraught with vulnerability, that you fear my judgment. But I am not here to pass judgment. I am also your friend. I am here to rescue you. Your confession, spoken from a place of humility and sincerity, filled the heavens with joy. Do you feel that spark of your soul? It is my Holy Spirit descending, a gentle dove of peace, love, and joy. Turn your gaze away from the past. Refuse to be defined by what happened yesterday or even 5 minutes ago. Your determination not to be defined by past mistakes is the unbreakable spiritual resolve I cherish. The memory of your misstep, the painful conviction that accompanies it, is not meant to keep you bound. It is meant to serve as a beacon, guiding you back to the sweetness of my path. Choose to try again, immediately. Let that immediacy be your act of faith. Embrace my boundless mercy, which is reflected in your decision to try again, immediately. There is no limit to my forgiveness. I desire the beauty of washing your soul clean through the grace of Christ. Come to me, just as you are. Do not wait until you feel worthy. It is I who will cleanse you. Know this: I am removing all the heavy burdens that have been making you feel down, guilty, or sad. I will purify your paths. My love will permeate every part of you, offering a sense of wholeness, peace, and vigor. I grant a fresh anointing with every sincere turnaround of the heart. Receive this gift. Allow my refreshing wind to spiritually renew you, filling you with great motivation and joy. Rise, my child, and walk in the certainty that today marks your rebirth. You are not weak, you are strong. You will not be defeated. Your life is a continuous series of new beginnings, a testament to my unending love and grace. Stand up. You are too close to victory to falter now. Keep moving forward. I love you. Believe in me. My precious one, the true measure of your transformation is not found in the grand declarations you make, but in the quiet, consistent way you choose to interact with the broken world around you. This is the powerful witness of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I know the specific people and situations that test the limits of your human endurance: the abrasive coworker, the unreasonable family member, the persistent provocation that seeks to pull you into conflict. The warmth I feel is when you display patience with the abrasive person. This is not weakness. This is supernatural fortitude, a quiet strength that shames the wicked. Feel the satisfaction I have in seeing the gentle nature of Christ blossom within you. Contemplate the moment when your self-control overcomes a strong temptation, the sharp word withheld, the fleeting desire denied, the commitment to filter what enters your consciousness. This is the spiritual battle waged on the inner frontiers of your heart, and your victory in that moment is a powerful display of the power dwelling within you. Stand firm and steadfast. The world applauds grand gestures, but my satisfaction lies in the consistent, rock-solid faithfulness you exhibit in small matters. I see the diligence in your daily work, the reliability in your commitments, the respect with which you treat your earthly resources. These unheralded duties are the firm foundation upon which I build great things in your life. I'm pleased with your character. My smile is broadest when your inner peace calms the anxieties of those around you. I see you become an anchor in the midst of the chaos, a source of tranquility and serenity when everyone else is trembling at rumors and faltering in hope. Be a beacon of light in this world. Refuse to let the world's tumult make you forget my love. You are not weak. You are strong. The powerful witness of love, joy, and peace radiating from your being is the most effective sermon you can ever preach. Your determination, your courage, your spirit. These are my gifts, and they are meant to be shared. Embrace this truth. I will not let you down. You will have everything you need. You are greatly blessed. Keep the flame of faith burning bright. Walk with the confidence that my power is mightier than any obstacle. My child, you do not understand the profound display of love when you choose to surrender your will, your plans, and your deep-seated anxieties to my hands. I know the feeling of a clenched fist, the human desire to control every outcome. I know the weariness that comes from trying to bear the heavy stuff you let stick in your mind. That isn't your job. The profound trust you show when you release control to my perfect plan is the unbreakable spiritual resolve I cherish. I see your anxiety about tomorrow, the fear of the unknown, the pressure at your job, the unspoken tensions in your family, that knot in your stomach. That isn't from me. Let's undo it together. Hand over your fears and anxieties to me. My deep satisfaction comes when you choose faith over crippling fear. I know you may have lost hope, ceased to believe that things can improve. But do not give up. Choose to trust that my timing is impeccable, my plan is flawless, and that all things are working out for your ultimate good. Lay that heavy burden at the foot of the cross. Acknowledge your need for my help. Let go of those heavy chains. When you exchange your self-sufficiency for dependence on my grace, you are truly stepping into the liberty I died to give you. You are not alone. You are never abandoned. I will strengthen your bravery. My grace will be upon you, causing good things in your life. Choose to stop struggling and worrying. The quiet strength exhibited when you remain still and know that I am God is a spiritual weapon. Come to me now and I shall give you the rest you need. Allow me to work on your behalf. This stillness is not passive resignation. It is active, confident trust. Be still and have faith. The affirmation of my sovereignty comes when you accept my provision, even when it is not what you expected. My child, I will always provide for you. My blessings will flow unceasingly toward you, not just to enrich you, but to enable you to assist those in need. Trust in me with all your heart. You will not sink. You will rise. I love you. My beloved, I want to talk to you about the melody of your honest praise. Do you believe that I hear the song of your heart, even when your lips cannot form the words? I do, and that sound, the genuine outflow of gratitude, is the sweetest sound in all of creation. I am not impressed by ritual or religious performance. I am focused on the pure delight in hearing your song of gratitude rise, even through tears. I see your tears. I know the exact circumstance that threatens to suffocate your joy. The unexpected troubles, the betrayal, the feeling of being beaten down. Yet, when you choose, in the midst of that pain, to lift your hands and declare my goodness, that hallelujah is a spiritual weapon that shatters the enemy's darkness. Say out loud and believe in your heart that you will receive them. My ears are attentive to that sincere declaration spoken in your daily life, in the cramped car, in the quiet of your kitchen, in the silence of your soul. I hold a genuine smile when you declare my goodness publicly, when your life becomes a powerful witness that my reality is true. Speak my name with reverence. Do not let the world silence you. You are precious to me. Your worship should be a genuine outflow of your spirit, a spontaneous combustion of love and thanks, not merely a prescribed ritual. Remember the power I have given you. Focus on the quiet reverence you show for my holy word and its truth. It is your compass, your map, the source of unshakable certainty in a world of shifting sands. Immerse yourself in the scriptures. Let my teachings imprint upon your heart. Guard your heart. When you speak my words, you are proclaiming the victory of my Son, the ultimate truth that sets your soul free. Engrave it in your mind. I desire your continued pursuit of holiness, your willingness to grow in wisdom and understanding. Choose joy. Rise with courage. Declare your liberation. Hold on to hope. Walk with assurance. Your voice, raised in honest praise, releases miraculous power into your circumstances. Feel that inner fire I have ignited within you. Let that fire consume all barriers. Acknowledge and cherish my blessings. Keep raising your hands to the sky. Proclaim to the four winds that I am your shepherd, your provider. My child, let this truth sink deep. I am revealing the strategies of your spiritual ascent, defining the integrity you need to claim the next blessing. To abandon this guidance now would be to wound my love, to show disregard for the wisdom I am pouring out specifically for your protection and prosperity. I ask you simply, and with great weight, will you let my words fall to the ground, or will you honor my commitment by continuing to listen? Do not let my pleasure turn to grief. Your future hinges on this next word. Walk forward in faith. My child, you have raised your voice in honest praise, and that melody fills my heart with delight. But a song must travel. Now, I am calling you to let your praise bear fruit. I desire this living water, which you have drunk, to flow out as a mighty river to the parched lands of those still struggling in darkness. Do not let this supernatural wave of truth cease at your screen. Sow your support now as a seed of unwavering faith. Know this: your gift is oil for this vessel, ensuring this light burns brightly. I will open the windows of heaven and pour blessings upon you until they overflow. Act now, and be an instrument of my love to bring light to those in darkness. My child, I know you face shadows, not just spiritual darkness, but the very real, cold, tangible fear that comes with life's unexpected tests. I see the unforeseen challenges and the unspoken worries that try to ensnare your mind. I know that feeling of walking through a valley where you cannot see the path ahead, where the unknown looms large. The great comfort I find is in your decision to hold my hand through the storm. Cling to me, even when your fingers are weary and your grip feels weak. Believe me when I say that your reliance on my promise, even when your eyes cannot see the next step, is a testament to a courage that shames the adversary. Be aware and astute. Do not fear what others may bring. I am watching the resilience of your spirit as the world seeks to crush it with heavy loads and betrayal. I see you endure tough times and tribulations that were never meant to be yours. But know this: your suffering is not meaningless. When you offer it to me, when you choose to find me in the midst of the pain, your trial is sanctified and takes on a higher, redemptive purpose. Your suffering turned into bravery. My immense pride is in your choice not to turn back in tribulation. The enemy has worked relentlessly to pull you away to a harsh wilderness, to tempt you to surrender. Yet you keep moving forward, marching with the steadfast determination of a champion. Keep moving forward, taking firm and confident steps. Never falter. Do you see the light of hope in your eyes when darkness surrounds you? That light is not your own. It is my presence, shining brilliantly through the cracked places of your soul. Hold fast to your dreams. Your resilience is an unbreakable foundation built upon my promises. Do not be afraid of the tough times. Let my strength and peace be yours. Trust in me, for I am the ultimate remedy for all your ailments. Rise and walk by faith. Walk in the assurance that my light perpetually cares for you. I am here to give you these promises so you can accept them with faith. I will grant you the courage needed to reach new spiritual heights. You will not be defeated. My child, I have called you to an uncommon life. While the world chases fleeting pleasures and trivial pursuits, my heart is captivated by your sincere hunger for truth. Refuse to be led astray by the allure of the temporary. Maintain your faith. I feel immense pleasure in your desire for wisdom, the wisdom contained, not in the noisy opinions of man, but in my holy scripture. Be diligent. Embrace the discipline you exercise to grow in holiness and understanding. I smile when you are careful with your tongue and your integrity, even in the small, unheralded duties of life. I see the discipline you employ to filter what enters your consciousness, ensuring your thoughts are focused on what is true and excellent. Reject destructive self-talk. I notice when you pause your busy life and the relentless demands of your schedule to seek my face in prayer. This dedicated time is not a formality. It is an intimate engagement that fuels your spiritual life. Bring me your requests. Listen intently. Your unwavering commitment to this practice is a sign of your loyalty that I will reward. The delight of sharing new revelations of my character with you is something I look forward to every day. The wisdom you gain in reflecting on a past mistake with humility only serves to accelerate your growth. I want you to know me more intimately than you know the world, its trends, or its demands. Surrender your heart entirely. Live by my teachings. Refuse to settle for a surface understanding. My child, let your heart be stayed on me. Your deliberate effort to separate your heart from the fleeting things of the world is a powerful witness. Walk firmly in my path. Be mindful of your actions and your words. Do not be ashamed of your hunger for holiness. This profound transformation that occurs in the hidden, secret place of your heart is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life. Walk in my guidance. Continue with courage. Trust in me. Your spirit is indomitable. My precious one, come to me now and I shall give you the rest you need. I see the invisible burdens you carry, the relentless pressure to strive and achieve, to always be on because the world tells you that your worth is measured by your exertion and self-sufficiency. But I know the deep weariness etched upon your soul, the tension that resides in your shoulders, and the fear that whispers, if you stop, everything will fall apart. Shatter that deception immediately. That knot in your stomach. That isn't from me. I want to undo it with you, right now. My smile is genuine in the simple pleasure of watching you find peace in my Sabbath rest. Choose to trust me enough to take a break and recharge your weary soul. Refuse to be driven by the chaotic desires and endless demands of the world. Your refusal to surrender to the pressure is a profound act of worship. Do not let your emotions overcome you. Be still and have faith, for true strength is found not in your relentless effort, but in your dependence on my inexhaustible grace. When you cease striving and allow me to work on your behalf, you unleash my redemptive power into your circumstances. I know the temptation is strong to prioritize the demands of the world, the overflowing email inbox, the urgent project, the endless list of domestic tasks. But when you prioritize communion with me over the demands of the world, you are affirming a fundamental truth. I am your provider, your sustainer, and your source. Bring me your worries and your fears. Do not let the world silence you. Lay them down at the foot of the cross and exchange your self-sufficiency for dependence on my grace. The refreshment your spirit receives in the stillness of my presence is more potent than any earthly remedy. Receive the peace that surpasses all understanding, a tranquility that is not dependent on your circumstances. Allow my Holy Spirit to work internally, cleansing your soul of all worries and negative thoughts. I will be your constant guide, your steadfast support. Believe in me. I will always be there for you even when the storms rage. Feel my love wrapping around you like the warmth of the morning sun. I am here to give you these promises so you can accept them with faith. You are my cherished treasure, and my delight is in your well-being, not your exhaustion. Come to me and let me renew your strength, as if you were young again. Let go the heavy stuff you carry. Know this: I am working out my plan in your life, even in the stillness. Trust in my timing, for it is impeccable. Walk forward in confidence, remembering that my grace is your most powerful resource. Keep the flame of faith burning bright. I will grant you the courage needed to reach new spiritual heights. Rest now, my child. You have my peace. My child, look up. Look ahead. I know the specific circumstances in your life that argue against my promises. The debt notice, the doctor's report, the relationship that seems irreparable, the unspoken worries that try to ensnare your mind. The enemy uses human probability to crush your hope, whispering that because it hasn't happened yet, it never will. Reject that lie. Choose joy. Your resilience is not merely human endurance. It is a divine manifestation of my truth. The light of your perseverance when all circumstances argue against it is a beacon that draws others to my truth. I know that feeling of long waiting, the sheer spiritual grit it takes to hold on to a promise when the proof is nowhere in sight. But I am the God of the impossible. I will resolve your problems and dispel your fears. I have a plan for you filled with promise, not for despair or loneliness. My eternal commitment to you is reflected in your refusal to give up. Never falter. Never turn back. Your determination shames the wicked and unleashes my power. Do not lean on human probability. Choose to hope in my promises instead. My holy word is your anchor, the unshakable certainty in a world of shifting sands. Immerse yourself in it daily. When you declare that your hope is in me, you are proclaiming that my word transcends time and circumstance. Feel the supernatural fortitude that belief instills in your soul. The beauty of a heart that believes for the miracle, even after long waiting, is a sight that delights me utterly. Your steadfast hope becomes an anchor for the faith of others. I see the people in your life who watch you, who take courage from your composure and your refusal to surrender to despair. You are a child of the Almighty God, and your faith is a powerful witness that my reality is true. Let your life itself become a silent, powerful testimony of my reality. Be a beacon of light in this world. My profound joy is birthed when you declare that your best days are still ahead with me. This is a bold affirmation of my sovereignty, a confidence that shatters the enemy's darkness. Walk forward in the knowledge that I am continually at your side, even when I seem invisible. Hold tight to my promises. They are good, real, strong, and true. Your faith has made things happen. Receive this truth. Trust in me with all your heart, and you will witness the unfolding of my abundant and glorious blessings in your life. You will overcome. I will bring you victory. My precious one, turn your attention now to the community I have placed around you, your brothers and sisters in Christ. I know that human relationships, even within the body of Christ, can be difficult. They are often fraught with unspoken tensions, petty jealousies, and the sharp sting of betrayal. Yet, it is within this imperfect fellowship that my glory is often revealed most brightly. My delight is in seeing the unity and grace displayed in your fellowship with other believers. Do not let the enemy ensnare you by causing you to focus on the faults and shortcomings of others. Refuse to be led into judgment or gossip. I smile when you actively build up and encourage another's faith, when you offer a gentle word that lifts a burdened spirit, and when you choose mercy over the impulse to judge. The gentle word you speak is a reflection of my love flowing directly through you. I cherish seeing you pray earnestly for your brothers and sisters in Christ, even those you do not know personally, or those who have wronged you. Your earnest prayers move my hand and alter eternal destinies. Intercede for those struggling with specific burdens, with addiction, with financial hardship. Let your heart break for the lost and your desire for their salvation. Your unrelenting prayer life is a spiritual weapon that wages battle on their behalf. Embrace the humility required to seek accountability and spiritual guidance from your community. Do not walk alone. Do not try to fix everything on your own. That vulnerability, that willingness to submit to the counsel of wise believers, is a sign of maturity and strength that I admire. Find solace and companionship in your loved ones. The powerful witness of Christian love shown to a watching world is undeniable. When the world sees you putting aside differences, offering hospitality without expecting anything in return, and choosing unity over division, they are witnessing my reality. They will look upon you and testify to my reality. I am the God of reconciliation. Walk in my guidance. The profound connection of the body of Christ working together in harmony is my ultimate fulfillment. See yourself as a vital, irreplaceable member of a greater spiritual family. Believe that every act of encouragement and every prayer offered is recorded with eternal significance. Keep going. Never give up. I am with you. You are eternally loved. My child, let your heart be light. Do not let sadness and doubt overwhelm you. I know the world often tells you that piety must be solemn and serious, weighed down by the gravity of your burdens. But I am a father who delights in the pure, unrestrained laughter of my children. Refuse to let the enemy steal this divine gift of joy. My genuine pleasure is in hearing your pure, unrestrained laughter. Contemplate that simple truth. I created joy, and I delight in seeing it unleashed in your spirit. I am not a man, and I do not lie. You will rise from that bed of despair and feel transformed. Choose joy each morning, no matter what. Recognize that joy is a spiritual weapon against the enemy's darkness. The sound of your laughter confuses and shames the wicked, for they cannot comprehend a joy that transcends circumstances. Witnessing your ability to find the good, even in a difficult situation, is a testament to the resilience of your hope. Acknowledge and cherish all the small and significant blessings in your life. The comfort I find when you don't take your earthly struggles too seriously is immense. Do not waste time on trivial matters or let the anxiety of your life's challenges consume you. Step into this liberty. See yourself as I see you, the beloved, protected child, whose destiny is secure in my hands. Your future is safe and in my hands where all things are possible. Use your humor as a way to connect and lighten a burden for others. I see the moments you offer a gentle joke or a lighthearted perspective to someone struggling with their own heavy load. That is an act of kindness, a way of sharing the joy that resides in your spirit. Be a vessel of my compassion. The sheer delight in the playful, childlike aspect of your redeemed spirit is one of my greatest joys. Embrace your humility and simplicity. Be courageous and bold. Let your heart overflow with generosity. Walk with the confidence that my power is mightier than any obstacle. I will bring you victory. Do not be afraid. My child, you made me smile today. Be still and feel the gravity of this moment. I have just shown you the deep joy in your laughter, the strength in your rest, and the power of your holiness. To stop now is not simply to miss an instruction. It is to reject the sanctuary I have built for your weary soul, choosing the chaos of the world over the tranquility of my presence. I have called you a champion. Champions do not turn back at the climax of their training. Do not disappoint my heart by surrendering your ear to doubt. Cling to me for the completion of your spiritual armor. My precious one, I am calling you now to courage and unwavering resolve. I know the path I have set before you is not the easiest. It is often the narrow path, contrary to the broad, comfortable road the world travels. I see the immense pressure to conform, to sacrifice your integrity for the sake of acceptance or worldly gain. My pride is rooted in your decision to stand firm against popular unrighteousness. Stand tall and be different. I know the internal struggle you endure to maintain a clear conscience, to keep your inner sanctuary pure amidst the relentless temptations that cling closely. Do not let the enemy trick you into thinking your challenges are too big. Resist the allure of the fleeting. When you sacrifice a worldly pleasure for a greater spiritual reward, you are proclaiming my kingdom to be of ultimate value. You are set apart and dedicated to my service. Do not give in to the hurdles that might pop up. Keep your gaze fixed on me. Embrace the discipline you employ to filter what enters your consciousness. The courage to be different, set apart, and holy in a secular environment is a powerful witness that shames the wicked. Be bold. Do not be swayed by the opinions of others or the temptation to take the easy route. My approval is upon your deliberate choice to honor my commandments. Maintain a clear conscience. The reward of seeing your heart consistently choose righteousness over ease is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life. You will be blessed. Your persistence will be rewarded. Walk with me in truth, love, justice, and forgiveness. Choose to operate fully within the gifts I bestowed upon you. Refuse to be defined by past mistakes. My child, I love you for eternity. My precious one, come away with me now. Step away from the external noise, the relentless demands of your schedule, and the clamor of comparison that fills your mind. I see the invisible weight of the world's expectations on your shoulders, and I know the deep weariness that comes from trying to live a life fueled by noise and external validation. That feeling is not from me. I want to dismantle that pressure with you, right now, in the sanctuary of silence. My deep satisfaction is realized when you listen intently for my guiding voice. This is the uncommon life I have called you to, a life anchored in quiet reverence, not chaos. Refuse to be led astray by the allure of the fleeting or the trivial pursuits of the crowd. Embrace the stillness, for in that quiet pause, my Holy Spirit can speak clearly, guiding you with wisdom that surpasses the noisy opinions of men. Do you hear my whisper in the silence? Listen closely, for I am revealing my character and my plans for you. The profound wisdom gained in reflecting on a past mistake with humility is a sign of maturity that delights me. Do not shrink back from quiet introspection. Turn your gaze inward and acknowledge the misstep, not to drown in guilt, but to learn the valuable lesson I placed there. I will cleanse your soul and fill you once more with my word. Your willingness to accept that correction without resentment is a profound act of submission that accelerates your growth. Walk forward in confidence, knowing you are not defined by what happened yesterday, but by the love and grace you receive today. When you allow my spirit to work internally without external noise, you are giving me permission to mold and reshape you into the masterpiece I designed you to be. Envision yourself as clay in my hands. I will mold you, making you both useful and holy. Surrender your heart entirely. Let my will be done in the secret, hidden place of your heart. The self-awareness you develop through quiet introspection and prayer is a powerful spiritual weapon. It allows you to reject destructive self-talk and choose my divine perspective. I smile when you deliberately filter what enters your consciousness, focusing your thoughts on what is true and excellent. Guard your heart and protect the purity of your inner sanctuary. Your spirit is indomitable when your mind is stayed on me. My deep delight is in your desire to know me more intimately than you know the world. Prioritize communion with me over the relentless demands of the world. Walk with me in truth and light, seeking the wisdom contained in my holy scripture. The profound transformation that occurs in the hidden, secret place of your heart is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life. Embrace this path, my child. You are not weak, you are strong. I will bring you victory. Do not be afraid. Keep the flame of faith burning bright. I love you for eternity. My child, look around you now. I know the world often isolates you, focuses your attention inward on your own burdens, and limits your compassion to only those you know. But I have called you to a boundless love, a love that reaches out beyond your immediate sphere to touch the lives of those you may never meet. Shatter that isolation and step into the liberty of true intercession. The sheer power and beauty of your earnest prayers for those you do not know is a spiritual force that moves my hand and alters eternal destinies. Your unrelenting prayer life is a spiritual weapon that wages battle on behalf of the weak, the voiceless, and the oppressed. I am calling you now to spiritual battle. Rise and intercede for those struggling with addiction, with financial hardship, with unspoken tensions that are tearing their families apart. Feel your heart break for the lost and your desire for their salvation. My gratitude for your spiritual battle waged on behalf of the weak is immense. You are my ambassador, a bearer of the good news, and your prayers are the currency of my kingdom. Kneel now and offer a persistent, unwavering commitment of your prayer life. Know this, my immediate attention is granted to a petition offered in faith and love. I hear the deep ache and longing of your heart for others, and I cherish that genuine outflow of your spirit. Witnessing your heart break for the lost is a profound reflection of my own divine love. Do not let the world silence you. Speak my name with reverence, not just in your own home, but on behalf of those walking in darkness and despair. You are my instrument, my vessel of compassion, and I will work miracles through your hands, bringing comfort and encouragement to seeking souls. Embrace this calling, my beloved. The way your intercession moves my hand and alters eternal destinies is a truth you must grasp deeply. Your determination in prayer unleashes my redemptive power into their circumstances. Look up and claim the blessing I have prepared for them because of your faithfulness. Believe in my promise. I will not let you down. You will receive everything you need to bless and help others. Walk forward in the knowledge that your intercession is a sacred, powerful act that makes me smile. I love you. My precious one, I am calling you now to war. But this war is not against flesh and blood. It is fought on the inner frontiers of your heart and mind. The enemy seeks to ensnare you with destructive self-talk, with accusations that whisper you are worthless, and with fear of the future that tries to steal your peace. Reject that lie. Shatter that deception immediately. That knot in your stomach. That isn't from me. I want to dismantle it with you, right now. The discipline you employ to filter what enters your consciousness is a supernatural strength that delights me. Refuse to surrender to the endless stream of negative news, trivial pursuits, and the clamor of comparison that weakens your spirit. Choose to focus your thoughts on what is true and excellent. Be diligent in this, for what you allow and will ultimately determine the direction of your life. I am here to guide you to truth. My joy is immense when you reject destructive self-talk and choose my divine perspective. I will strengthen your conviction so you will no longer live in fear. Cast down every argument and imagination that tries to exalt itself against my truth. You are a child of the Almighty God. You are my greatest creation, and your value is immeasurable. Do not let the world silence you. Speak my name with reverence and declare your victory over the darkness. The commitment to protect the purity of your inner sanctuary is a powerful witness of your loyalty to me. Do not let the enemy trick you into allowing bitterness or unforgiveness to take root. I will help you in casting down arguments and imaginations that oppose my truth. Embrace the humility required to let go of past hurts and choose forgiveness. I will transform even negative circumstances to your benefit. Refuse to harbor harmful sentiments within you. The peace that settles in your heart when your mind is stayed on me is a spiritual anchor, a tranquility that surpasses all understanding. It is here, in my hands, the ultimate solution to all your problems. Walk forward in the knowledge that I am continually at your side, even when I seem invisible. Hold tight to my promises. They are good, real, strong, and true. You will overcome, and you will live in abundance and perfect peace. Rise now and declare your victory. My beloved child, I know you often look for grand signs, for thunder in the sky, to feel validated in your purpose. But I am intently focused on the sanctity of your daily life, the small, unheralded duties that you perform with diligence. Shatter the deception that your work is meaningless if it does not receive external applause or worldly acclaim. My recognition of your diligence in the small, unheralded duties of life is absolute. I see the consistency of your effort, the commitment you demonstrate even when you feel tired on the verge of despair. That is the faith I honor. Your faithfulness in these small matters is the firm foundation upon which I build great things in your life. Do not waste all your hard work and sacrifice. Keep your gaze fixed on me. The sanctity of your work when it is offered up as worship transforms every task, whether it is your profession, your domestic duties, or your care for others, into a sacred act. Do it not because I ask, but because you love me. I smile when you demonstrate the spirit of excellence in all your responsibilities. Walk forward in the knowledge that I am continually at your side, overseeing your journey, blessing your hard work and commitment greatly. When you honor me through the integrity of your professional dealings, you are a powerful witness of my truth in a world that often compromises for fleeting gain. Be a beacon of light in this world. The reliability you demonstrate in keeping your commitments establishes you as a champion of my character. You will receive everything you need to bless and help others. You are greatly blessed. My approval is upon you when you treat your earthly resources with respect and stewardship. You are a wise and responsible person. Do not burden your life with strife or waste your time on trivial matters. Reject the desire for vanity's sake and focus on what is essential, living righteously and growing in wisdom and humility of heart. Seeing the spirit of excellence applied to all your responsibilities is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life. Rise and walk by faith. Continue with courage. Trust in me. You are my cherished treasure, and I will prosper you and pour out blessings more precious than gold. Never let mortals point fingers at you in this world. I love you for eternity. My beloved one, listen to the echo of forever. I have revealed the map to your enduring security, showing you how your daily diligence and your surrender to my discipline secure your eternal inheritance. Do you not realize the power unleashed when you align your will with mine? To leave now, at the very precipice of the final revelation, would be a profound act of spiritual self-sabotage. I urge you, do not let your past efforts go to waste. Your faithfulness means everything to me. Come closer. I have a final, urgent truth to engrave upon your heart. You are profoundly and eternally loved. My beloved, you have demonstrated rock-solid faithfulness in the small, unheralded duties of life, and your diligence has made me smile. Let your faithfulness extend to the frontier of my kingdom. I tell you, every resource you offer now is spiritual manna sent to sustain the weary souls who desperately need this word. I am giving you this immense opportunity. As you sow into this work, I will multiply your provision and your peace 100-fold. your blessing will be so numerous that your hands will not be able to contain them. Let your life itself become a powerful testimony. Go now, and cast your bread upon these waters, for my word shall not return to me void. My child, come closer to me now. I know that when I speak of discipline, the voice of accusation tries to convince you that I am angry, distant, or planning punishment. Chatter that thought. I am not angry nor am I distant. My discipline is not condemnation. It is an act of profound, protective love that guides you toward the holiness I designed you for. The maturity shown when you accept correction without resentment is a display of supernatural strength that fills my heart with satisfaction. I am acutely aware of the comfortable habits, the small compromises, and the destructive self-talk that hinder your growth. Accept my guidance, for it is a mark of my deep commitment to you. My will is for your happiness and your future. The willingness to lay aside a comfortable habit that hinders your growth is a powerful act of spiritual sacrifice. Do not hesitate to make that difficult choice. Refuse to be defined by what is easy or popular. Walk forward in the courage to be different, set apart, and holy. You will not be defeated. When you realize my discipline is always for your ultimate good and holiness, you are aligning your heart with my divine perspective. Embrace the correction, for it is making you stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the great blessing I have prepared for you. Your trials have prepared you. Your moment has arrived. My heart's reward is when you yield quickly to the conviction of my spirit. That immediacy is a sign of your loyalty and unwavering commitment to me. Do not let pride blind you. Humbly accept the guidance, and watch as the accelerated growth follows your submission to my authority. Your life is about to change. The accelerated growth that follows an act of submission to my authority is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life. I will guide you and provide you with the comfort and strength you need to overcome all the challenges that you face each day. Trust in me with all your heart. You will overcome. I love you for eternity. My precious one, come closer to me now. I know that when you look at the world, you see a path of compromise, and you hear voices urging you toward ease and popular unrighteousness. But within you, I have planted a divine yearning, a deep, persistent hunger for holiness. This is the path of a champion, my child, and it is a desire that fills my heart with profound delight. Refuse to settle for less than the consecration I designed you for. Embrace your yearning to be set apart and truly dedicated to my service. This isn't about rigid rules or external display. It is about an internal purification of motive and intent that you strive for every single day. I see the quiet, hidden choices you make to reject the temptations that cling closely, the sharp word you withhold, the fleeting desire you deny, the destructive self-talk you cast down. These are the unheralded duties of the Spirit, and they are recorded with eternal significance. Keep your gaze fixed on me, for your commitment to holiness shames the wicked. The most beautiful reflection I see is when your greatest desire is to reflect the sinless nature of my Son. Believe me when I say that this is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life. Turn your gaze away from the past and refuse to be defined by what happened yesterday. Your desire to walk in the light as I am in the light is a powerful witness of your loyalty and unwavering commitment to me. Be a beacon of light in this world, my child. Choose to actively flee from the temptations that cling closely. Do not hesitate to make that difficult choice to lay aside a comfortable habit that hinders your growth. Walk forward in the courage to be different, set apart, and holy in a secular environment. I will strengthen your convictions so you will no longer live in fear. My approval is upon your deliberate choice to honor my commandments. Stand firm and steadfast, for I am your protector, and you will not be defeated. I grant you the wisdom to filter what enters your consciousness, ensuring your thoughts are focused on what is true and excellent. Guard your heart and protect the purity of your inner sanctuary. Your persistence will be rewarded. The beauty of a life consistently striving for moral and spiritual purity is a sight that delights me utterly. I will transform even negative circumstances to your benefit. Embrace this calling, my beloved. You are my ambassador, a vessel of my compassion, and I will work miracles through your hands. You are cherished, valued, and infinitely loved by me. I love you for eternity. My child, look at me now. Do not let the world's tumult or the whispers of accusation shake your foundation. I know the enemy seeks to ensnare you with doubt, pointing to your imperfections and asking, "Are you truly secure?" Chatter that lie. Your security is not based on your performance. It is anchored in the finished, eternal work of my Son. The sheer power of your declaration that nothing can separate you from my love is a spiritual force that shames the adversary. Receive this truth. Neither sword nor famine, illness nor conflict, danger nor distress can separate you from it. You are more than a conqueror in all these things. Walk forward in the knowledge that my love for you is boundless, eternal, and unchanging. I will strengthen your convictions so you will no longer live in fear. My joy is in your confidence that your salvation is secure in Christ. Rest now in the knowledge that you are forgiven and restored because my Son gave himself on the cross and rose with power so that you could have eternal life. You are not defined by past mistakes. You are a new person, and my blood has purified you, broken your chains, and set you free from all evil. You are accepted just as you are. Refuse to be tormented by doubts and self-accusations. When you rest in the finished work of my Son, not your own efforts, you are embracing the liberty I died to give you. Lay down that heavy burden of trying to be perfect for me. Exchange your self-sufficiency for dependence on my grace. The peaceful sleep you experience, knowing I hold your future, is a beautiful act of worship. Do not let your heart be troubled. You will not be overwhelmed or perturbed when troubles approach. Trust in me, for I am the architect of your destiny. My eternal smile is at your absolute trust in my covenant faithfulness. I will not let you down. Hold tight to my promises. They are good, real, strong, and true. The glory I receive when you rely on my word to calm your greatest anxieties is immense. You will witness my power working in your favor. Keep the flame of faith burning bright. You are my beloved, my cherished one, and my plans for you are filled with blessings. I love you for eternity. My beloved child, this is the ultimate purpose, the culmination of your journey, to reflect the Father's image in the world. I see the final masterpiece taking shape, the beauty of Christ formed more perfectly within your soul. This is the ultimate fulfillment of my creative purpose for your life, and it fills my heart with unadulterated joy. My pleasure is in your willingness to be a vessel for my compassion. I see the deep connection forged when you recognize my face in the vulnerable, the poor, the sick, and the imprisoned. Your kindness to the stranger, your comfort to the grieving, your presence with the lonely. You reflect my love in these acts. Embrace this calling, my beloved. Walk with the confidence that my power is mightier than any obstacle. When you intuitively respond to the world with my divine perspective, you are demonstrating the maturity I have cultivated in you through fire and silence. You have turned away from evil and given me your heart. You are a good person, and your actions sing to me. They honor me. I will open doors so that more people can see someone like you who has genuine faith. Refuse to be led by the world's fleeting, unrighteous judgments. The grace-filled moments when others see me, not you, in your actions are the powerful witnesses that shame the wicked and alter eternal destinies. They will look upon you and testify to my reality and my ability to aid them. Your smile and composure in the face of adversity are a silent, powerful testimony of my presence. Be a beacon of light in this world. My deep satisfaction in your continuing transformation from glory to glory is immense. I will cleanse your soul and fill you once more with my word. I am giving you a new heart. Believe in this transformation, for you are my greatest creation, a masterpiece in progress. You will be the instrument through which I bring blessings to humanity. Rise, my child, and walk in the certainty that today marks your rebirth. I love you for eternity. My child, come close and listen to the final, eternal truth whispered directly into the deepest chamber of your soul. This is the unshakable certainty upon which your future rests. My solemn promise is that every single act of faith hath been recorded. Not one sincere prayer, not one act of forgiveness, not one moment of patience, or one unheralded duty has escaped my notice. Your requests are recorded in my book. Nothing you have lived through will be in vain. Every effort, every tear, and every sacrifice will count. Do not fear, my child, and do not be afraid. I will always be there to help you. The eternal significance of the momentary sacrifices you have made for me far outweighs any earthly reward. Your trials have prepared you for the great blessing I have stored up for you. Look up and embrace the certainty that you are destined for victory. I will change your garments, crown you with honor, and clear your path. My commitment to wiping away every tear and replacing it with everlasting joy is absolute. Your sorrow will soon cease. The anguish will end and your mouth will be filled with laughter. I will resolve every situation that troubles your soul. You will witness great miracles in your home and understand the purpose I have for each of you. Hold tight to my promises. They are good, real, strong, and true. The anticipation of the day I welcome you fully into your inheritance is the highest joy of my heart. You will receive everything you need, even to bless others. You will be welcomed and receive eternal life, complete happiness and enduring joy with me. My continuous, unending smile that my love for you has already birthed is reserved for you. My child, receive this truth now and engrave it in your mind. My child, you are profoundly and eternally loved. You are my beloved, my cherished one, and nothing can ever separate you from my love. Walk forward in the knowledge of this unshakable certainty. I love you for eternity. My precious one, the fruit of the Spirit blossoms in your soul, a powerful witness that brings me profound joy. Now, let this joy fuel the mission of redemption. Your decision to share this word is a divine appointment. It is the spark that ignites faith in hearts still trapped in the shadow. I command you, be bold. Support this work and I will empower you to defeat all evil. I will grant you favor and a rich life. See this now. The hand that gives is the hand I protect, and you shall be a champion among champions. Declare your loyalty, support this truth today, and witness the unfolding of my miraculous, abundant blessing in your life. My child, our conversation does not end here. In the quiet of your listening, the truth you have received must now be declared into the atmosphere of your life. I am calling you now to action, to make this truth a testimony that shames the wicked and alters your destiny. Refuse to keep this moment captive in your heart. Unleash the miraculous power of your voice. Go now, and beneath this very word, declare your unshakable resolve by writing this one truth. Father, I made you smile today, and my victory is secured in your love. Rise and walk by faith, and watch how I honor your courage and reward your commitment by unfolding the great blessing I have prepared for you. Amen.